Well, good afternoon. My name is Jasmine Shaw, and I'm a Director for School Facilities. And joining me today is Darius Williams. He is our Program Coordinator. Darius, would you like to add anything at this time?
Of course, I'm Darius Williams earlier. This is the project management portion of the presentation. Again, if you have any questions afterwards, you could feel free to email me or give me a call and I'll answer any questions you have.
Great. Thank you, Darius. And so earlier we talked about property acquisitions, and property acquisitions was getting your properties within our system. But on today, we're going to talk about the project management portion of, of the property. And the project management portion is any renovation, construction, or improvement projects that you want to do on that property that you've already added to our system. So at this time, I'll take you to our new school facilities portal. You would go to ed.sc.gov, and in the top right-hand corner, you would select Login. And down at the bottom left, you would select Proceed to Application Web Portal Login. Okay, and then for training purposes, I'm logging in with a fake account, but I am logging in as you as the district. Okay, and I mentioned earlier, for you as the district, you want to have your web access coordinator to give you access to our application, and you would want to follow the instructions on how to do so, which is located on our website. And so the location for how to get to these instructions, I'll just show you right quickly. You would go to ed.sc.gov, districts and schools, and down to school planning and building. And on our homepage for school facilities, you will select electronic portal instructions. And so for you as the district, you would then select district facility user access instructions, and it will take you here as to how to get access to our application. Now, I did get the question earlier with what exactly is the role that the web access coordinator will have to select. And so that is the role is called facility data entry. And so what we'll do is revise these instructions so that the web access coordinator knows exactly which role to give you. So thank you for that. So going back to our application, once you're logged in as the district, something that I want to highlight is you'll see school facilities portal in two locations. You'll see it under applications, school facilities portal. Now under applications, this is our live version. This is the real live version of the new portal. But for training purposes for today, I'm going to access the application in a testing mode. So I'm going to select school facilities portal under training. Okay, and so as a district, what I want to do now is go to project management. Okay, and so from here, you want to select your district. Now, Abbeville is already selected because we're in a test mode, but you'll then have an option to select your district or your charter and then click View Listing. And then what will come up is all of the properties associated with your district. You want to come over here and select Show All Active Properties. And so what I'll use is Foster High School. And if you recall, we used Foster High School in our property acquisition discussion from earlier. So what I am intending to do is add a renovation project to Foster High School. And so every property has its own property number, and the name we gave the property was Foster High School. And if you notice, there's no address associated with Foster High School. And so in order to add the address, you want to come and select Edit Property Information. And then you want to come down. If you don't have an option here already to choose, you want to say that it's not listed. And so now you can come in and add the location for this particular property. And so I'm just, of course, making this up. Now, I'm not sure what other state you would select other than South Carolina, but this is definitely part of the software. So we'll give it a zip code and we'll select Save. Okay, so now Foster High School has an address associated with it. All right, so you would come in and select Create New Project. Now at Forest High School, we want to, let's do a kitchen renovation. And we want to add a new hood suppression system. And so that's the description for your project, and you have, you know, a certain amount of characters you can enter in. You can certainly put in more information. And so what you would do is select for your point of contact. That will be anyone that you want to select within your district. Say for example, you have maybe an administrative assistant who is representing you as the facility data entry person, but your point of contact is going to be John Doe, you know, for your district location. So your admin assistant can select, you know, John Doe is the person that's going to be your point of contact for the district. Now, if John Doe or whomever you want to assign to the project is not in this drop-down box, you can select New Contact right here and say you select New Contact, and then it gives you the option to fill in whomever you want to be the contact for your district for that project. Also, if John Doe's information has changed, you can select Edit Contact Information, and you can change that information. So you have the flexibility to do that here. So I'm going to select John Doe is my point of contact for my district. And just for the sake of training, I'm going to say this does not require a waiver for professional services. This is definitely a fire-related safety item, so it doesn't require a waiver. So I'm going to select no, and I'm going to create the project. Now, at this point, you want to select who your design firm is going to be. You will see a list of design firms that we'll have within the application that we'll go ahead and populate within the application. We do not have that list currently. We are working on it, but essentially you'll see a names of design firms, and so it is the actual name of the firm. And so we have, right now, we just made up JCS. And at JCS, you want to select the individual for that company that works for that company. Now, I know you're going to ask, well, what if I don't see the company, and what if I don't see the name? Well, it says here that if you do not see the design firm contact you wish to use for this project, please click here. So we're going to go ahead and do that because we're going to say we don't see that person. And so what you want to do is, if you don't see that person, you want to put whoever that individual is for the design firm, you want to put in their email address right here. So I'm just going to say, you know, Tess at I'm going to make up just an address, and I'm not going to hit send, but it's essentially saying if you still do not see the design firm contact on either page, they, you know, would have to create their community account. And so in putting in their email address, you're essentially making sure they get all the information they need to go ahead and get set up with the portal. And so your job is done. And simply all you have to do is put in their email address, and whatever email address you use, they will get that email address, and then they'll follow step-by-step instructions as to how to gain access to this application. And so if you recall, Darius had served that role where the design professional will reach out to Darius in our current process to get them access to the portal. But now this part is electronic. So I'm going to go back, and I'm going to say JCS is the company who I want to choose. Let's go back. And so I'm going to select the design firm, and I'm going to hit continue. Okay, so here's the project. Again, the property ID is associated with the property. This reference number, this number is essentially saying that the Office of School Facilities is the 41st project that we've received within our office as a whole. And so in the property name, as far as high school, and this is the kitchen renovation project. And as a part of the kitchen renovation, the project description is adding a new hood suppression system. This was created on today at this time. And then the status of this project is under design. And so it's, what under design means is it's with the design professional. And the design professional has not submitted anything to OSF at this time. I'll talk more about the project status and what that means, because I know you really want to know more information about that, because the question is, what is the status of my project, right? I'll also share with you, we have a box over here if you wanted to send or contact us or send us a message. You can certainly do so. We'll get it, and it will be tied directly to this project. I'm just showing you that is a feature within the application. And down below, the information that you've entered for your district contact will automatically show. So not only is OSF seeing this, but the design professional is seeing this. The Chapter 1 inspector is seeing it. So we're being very transparent about what's going on with the particular project and who's assigned to it. You see that you have a design firm assigned to this project, and you as the district facility user at any point, you have the option to change your design firm. You have the option to change your district contact information as well. You also have to hire a Chapter 1 inspector, as you may already know that. And so as the district, you're selecting which Chapter 1 inspector you want to assign to your project. And if I haven't mentioned this before, I'll go ahead and mention our new web application, of course, again, is a one-stop shop for districts, design professionals, other state agencies, to all have access to our application and see the real life status of the project. And so we've implemented part 1, which was the Chapter 1 inspectors portion, to get them in our system. So when you log in, you'll see the list of all of the approved Chapter 1 inspectors, and you will be selecting from that list which inspector you want on that project. Now, which is very good about our application, is that when you select your inspector, you'll also see what all the credentials that they have assigned to them. So this person, Inspector 1, is able to look at building, is able to look at mechanical and electrical. And so if they're looking at plumbing, they're not within what they're certified to do. And so that's something that's really neat about this particular application. So you as a district, you'll come in, you'll see your inspector that you want to select, and you'll go ahead and assign that inspector to the project. I'll go ahead and do an update. And so here you'll see it. The Chapter 1 inspector is here. Now, we don't have a list of Chapter 17 inspectors. We stopped doing that back in 2011. We don't personally keep a list and keep up with the credentials. We only do that for Chapter 1 inspectors, but you would still need to hire a Chapter 17, but we don't go through that process anymore for the Chapter 17s. So this will be revised only to say Chapter 1, but I just wanted to make a note of that. And if you select this info button, again, you'll see what all of their credentials are. All right. And so again, I'll send out training information to you regarding the project management portion of the application. One of the items that will be there, I love to do visuals. And so one of the questions would be, well, me as the district facility user, what areas would be most essential for me? And so I've, took the liberty to circle that you have the flexibility to change your district contact, your design firm, and of course, select in a Chapter 1 inspector at this point. And then really, you would just kind of sit back or go in periodically and see, did my design professional upload plans? And so that's the next section is plans. What did they upload? You can come down here and see everything that the design professional is doing for you, for your district. Under OSF inspections, you can see which ones have been scheduled and when. Like when is OSF coming out? What date that OSF is coming out? And not just what date and when, but did the inspection pass? And so we're able to put all that information within the system. But for you as a user, you're just really sitting back and saying, okay, what is the status of my project at this point? So something else that I will send out as well as training material. I talked a lot about what's the status of my project. And so we have a PMO group that is working with us regarding the application, and I have identified a few areas that I would like to change when it comes to the status, so it's much clearer as to who has what and when. And so once those changes take place, I will send this out. I kind of call this the project status change cheat sheet, so that you can have it beside you. So when you see a status, you can say, oh, okay, well, this is what that status means. And so now I know, where it's at within our application. And so I am I'm actually going to log in as director. I have a good bit of other options that I can have access to show you a few things, but you'll see the same thing on your end. I'm going to go back to Forest High School property, Kincher renovation, and I'm going to step through and show you a few things. So if you remember when I sent that message, when I was logged in as the district, I sent the message, and so now you see that I've gotten the message. I can check the message, and the message said testing 1, 2, 3. You can also see that an OSF user has not been assigned, but of course an OSF user has not been assigned because the project is under design for your design professional. So under design means your designer is working on it. Once plans have been submitted to the office, and at this point, just kind of sit back and just kind of look and see what I'm doing, because this part I'm doing, the design professional does. So I wouldn't really harp too much on this part. All right. So me as a design professional, I just uploaded plans And then the plans are always under plans and specifications. So if you click plans and specifications, you can see down here at the bottom all the information that was sent to us and what time it was sent to us as well. And you can view what documents were sent. And so if you notice, the status has changed to plan submitted. And when that status, and what that status means is exactly what it is, that plans were submitted to OSF. And so some little tweaks that I want to do is say plan submitted, and then it'll say plan submitted to OSF. So that's a little bit more clear as to who has what and when. At that time, I get notified to assign a person for within our office. So a lot of questions we get is, has anyone been assigned to my project? And so that will be easily answered if you log in and you do or don't see anyone assigned to your project. So I'm going to go ahead and assign someone from OSF to a project. I'm going to pick Ashley Baker. It's Ashley Aiken now. And what you would see on your end is that right here on the right-hand side, you'll see OSF contact is Ashley Baker. Okay. And so that answers that question. And so now Ashley would come in, you know, like once again, I'm doing this part, I'm acting as if I'm Ashley. Ashley can come in here and she can do a pre-screening and notice that something's missing that needs to be with the project. She can come in and make a note. She can say additional information is required. And then go down to plans and specifications, and you can see that additional information is required. It needs a F3, but you can basically see what comment was made. Once Ashley is ready to review this kitchen hood suppression system for Forest High School, Ashley will come in and select the project as under review. And I want to show you that the status will change. And so when you see under review, that means OSF is reviewing your project. So Ashley would be reviewing this project, be actively reviewing it. Okay, so say Ashley has reviewed the project and she's worked with the design professional to get everything resolved, and she's now approving this project to proceed with construction. Okay, so I'm actually just going to kind of step through because this part Ashley would she would know what to do. I've trained my people on how to do this part, so they are excited and ready to use this application. Okay, so now that Ashley has reviewed the project, she'll go in and set it for construction, which means that the project can continue on with construction, or excuse me, that the project can be constructed. And typically at this point, what happens next is that you as the district would bid the project and then, select who you want as your general contractor to work on your construction project. Something that I do want to show you under plans and specifications, you will see with your building permit. And so all before, when we issue a building permit, we've been, of course, uploading it to the portal, and then we'll send you an email that the building permit can be viewed. Now you can do it yourself, and you will actually automatically get an email for your building permit and your certificate of occupancy. So I'll show you it again, and it saves a lot of time. So I'm going to plans and specifications, I'm selecting building permit. And then this green buttons, you can print your building permit. If you notice in the lower left-hand corner is downloading for me. Okay, and so this would be your hard copy of your building permit. It's of course very similar to the ones we have now. Something that we did notice is that we need to get our legal statement added at the bottom, and our PMO group is working on that. So of course, come January 4th, we'll be ready and have all of our legal information in place, and it'll be a footer. All right, so I'm going to do a few other things, and I just want to once again focus on the status changing. As you all may know, OSF, we come out and we do inspections. We do an above ceiling and we do a final inspection. So I'm going to do a final inspection of the kitchen renovation, and it was of the hood system. Now, this is a design professional doing this part. They're requesting an inspection for OSF. I will have training like I'm doing with you today, but it'll be focused just on the design professional, so they'll know exactly what they need to do. And so I'm going to say that the inspection passed. There's no conditions. I'm going to go ahead and submit that the inspection has passed. So OSF has approved the kitchen hood. And again, once that inspection has passed, you'll see that, well, you'll see that there was a request for a final inspection, and you can see that the inspection has passed under OSF inspections right here for the kitchen hood test, but at least you know that the request was made. Us as OSF will go ahead and set the project for complete. And so, you know, the project is complete. It says substantially complete. And if you're wondering, well, let's see here. Hold on one second. Okay, so I actually wanted to take the opportunity to show you the certificate of occupancy, but I think I'm having some technical difficulties here. Second. Okay, so I'll make sure that our PMO group knows about this glitch that I just noticed. But I should have received this green button here that says approve for your certificate of occupancy. and it should have been there when I first went into the application, but apparently it didn't show up until I just added an occupancy. So we'll make sure that part gets taken care of. So I'll go ahead and approve for certification. And it will be available to you. It'll be right here. It'll say print certification. And then you'll have the option of opening it. And it will have all of the same information. And of course, for this one, there were no special conditions because everything passed. And this would be the copy of your certificate. There is an electronic signature that is automatically applied to the certificate of occupancy. And if you're wondering how to ever go back in the application to get or see your building permit or your certificate of occupancy, I'll go back and show you. So when you come back to this page for project management, of course, select your district, which for testing purposes is Abbeville, and then show all active properties. Then we're going to go to Forest High School, and we're going to go to show all projects. And there's our kitchen renovation project is completed. And then I showed you the building permit here. And then for OSF inspections, the one that passed, your certificate of occupancy is over in this area right there to the right. And so again, you can select print and, you know, send it to whomever you need to. And that completes your project. Again, thank you for joining us. I am now going to stop the recording to answer any questions we have about the project management section.